Hey guys, so I was just coming back to let you guys know I just get ready to upload this video for you guys on how I make my beef stew, and then I have a second one coming out on how I made my honey jalapeno semi-homemade cornbread muffins to go with that beef stew. So I just want to come and let you guys know that this video is coming out here just a moment. And I just wanted to bring this here to you guys. All right, here we go. Part of this video will be voiceovers, okay? And other parts, you'll hear me talking to you. Back again with another video. Hi, all you guys. Thank you guys for coming back to see what T-Vlog is doing again. So, just before I get into this video, I'm going to ask you guys to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you can get all and any and every uploads that I bring to you guys. Alright? So, we are still in the new year. God still is good. He's still good. We're still here, aren't we? Alright. So, we are going to have a nice cozy dinner tonight. Dee Dee said I was going to make some tacos, but she don't want no Taco Tuesday, so we're just going to go ahead and, like I said, vegetables is always on my account, so I love them, you know. So tonight we're going to make some beef stew, okay? Beef stew. I'm not going to use my Instant Pot to make it because I know I could make it real quick in the Instant Pot. I just don't feel like that right now. I really feel like just doing it on my stove and letting it take its time. I don't want to do it in a slow cooker, so I'm going to do it on my stove today. So, I have a couple of packs of beef here where I buy my beef in the big packs, and then what I do is I chop them up myself. So I have a piece of beef here. It's let me see. Gotta take these glasses off so I can read y'all. Where it's a bottom round beef where I cut it. It was a nice little small pack, just enough for me and her. It was $6, and I think the pack was probably about this big, no, this long, and about this big, maybe. So about this long, about this big. But it was like $6, and it's on one of my grocery hauls that I showed a while back. But anyway, because it's just me and her, I cut it in half, and just a little small piece will be for me and her. But what I think I'm going to do is, and then I already had some stew meat beef that I bought a while back too. Not too far back, but I'm going to put both of these beefs, and they both are stew beef meat, and I'm going to put them in my nice little pot here, okay? It's not a big pot, it's a medium, little small pot, and I'm going to make it enough for 2 families, okay? 2 families. Now, my daughter, she loves for me to make beef stew. My oldest daughter. When y'all seen on Thanksgiving on one of my videos and stuff, and you probably seen her little clip of her leg on my Christmas vlog. And my son-in-law said, Mom, I gotta get your beef stew recipe, because this is all she talks about is that comfort food that you make, which is her favorite, is that beef stew. So what I'm about to do is I'm going to make it, and then I'm going to call her. Hopefully it'll be done by the time she gets off work. And it should be, because I'm putting it on now around about, I think it's like 10 o'clock. No, it's 11 here. It's 11 o'clock here. So, and I like my meat to slow cook. So I'm going to put it on in here. Okay, yeah, so these was like steaks. These are like a beef steak slices. But that's okay, because I'm putting it in here. I'm going to season it. I'm going to slow cook it, and let it slow cook in this pot. I'm putting my water on now. The first part of the water that I put on here is that I cook it just to clean it. So I like to parboil my meat first, and parboil all the stuff that ain't good that's going to be in there and stuff. Parboil that in. So your meat stuff to be clean for your stew and stuff. And then that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a little parboil first. And I'm going to put my top on it. I put the top on there so that the heat, when the heat rises up in there, it rises pretty good in there. So parboil it first for about 20 to 30 minutes. And then rinse it off real good. Strain your meat real good, rinse off. And then that's when I season it. And then I'm going to chop up and come back and show you guys the vegetables that I'm having here. I'm going to chop it up. And then we're going to have us a nice good old beef stew. Alright? Here we go with that part. Okay guys, so I'm showing you guys here that I have some fresh green beans that I bought from Aldi's in that grocery haul. So go back and check that grocery haul video and you'll see those. And I got those from Aldi's. I got here some cleaned and peeled carrots. And I'm counting right here 5 potatoes. 2 Yukons. And I had 3, I think they were just russet potatoes. So I had what I had in my fridge there. So I'm just going to put these few items inside my beef stew. So now I'm proceeding to peel my potatoes so I can get those washed and cleaned up and diced up for this beef stew. So I started with the larger potatoes and started peeling those to watch myself because I don't want to skin myself trying to peel these potatoes. All right, so go. Now this is why you want to parboil your meat. You see that film right there? That's what you want to get rid of. So that's why you want to always parboil your meat before you actually cook it. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to drain this meat. I don't know if you can see it. I'm sitting right on the top. Cut this water off. So you see this here? Right there. This is why I drain my meat. See that? Yeah. That's not good. And my mom taught us to parboil our meats for years. You know, we learned that from her. You know. And then I take my pot. Let me bring you guys over here. So I take my pot and I got my cookie sheet here that I used yesterday. I take my pot and I'm going to wash my pot back out because I like to use my same pot. So what I do is soap on my towel and I'm going to wash this pot back out. And I'm going to use the same pot. My meat's drained over here on this side, and then I'm about to rinse this pot out real good. And put my meat back in there. And then I can go ahead and season my meat. There we go. There we go. There. Good and clean. I like to clean as I cook. So I even cleaned around my eye and everything. But some of the stuff went down in there. So now I'm going to take this meat here. I'm going to do it on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to take this meat here, and then I'm going to rinse my meat. That's all the po boil stuff off of it. You know, you don't want to put it back into the pot. You don't want to put it back into the pot with the stuff on it, that stuff that was on it. And this here was like a steak. So that's what I'm about to do is cut this part up. This is like a steak. Okay, this one I'm using my potato. See here, I'm gonna cut this part up. The other parts are the chunk beef, but I like to have a lot of. Some people like their meat to be chunky. Some like it to be small and chunky. I like to have like nice little bite size when I cut off into my meat. This was like it was kind of like a steak, but it was like a beef steak tip or something. But that's okay, because you can add that in there too. It needs to be cooked anyway. I cleaned it. So now all I gotta do is season my meat. And I just want it to get real good and tender, so when I chew into this here inside my beef stew, hey, it's good to go. Now I have, these are beef chunks right here. This is the beef for the beef stew, this right here, see? So, I just cleaned that gunk, that bit from the pork part, and then I'm just gonna, now I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take, so now you see me chopping this up, and I'm gonna chop those up, because I don't want them to be real thick. The only way I have those to be thick like that, it's like if I'm making like a beef and potato or, you know, type of deep meat, but the type of thing, but she wanted like a beef stew, so we making up a beef stew here. And so I don't like my meat to be thick and chunky, so I'm gonna cut mine like this here. Just a nice bite size. Put it back in there. See, nice little bite size. That's how we like ours. We clean it right after we parboil it. Cut it nice chunk size. So, and yes, you might be saying, oh, that's raw. Yes, it is, because all I did was parboil it to clean the gunk off the meat. You always want to do that, you know. Okay. So that's off the meat. Cut the quarter off. And so that's how I'm doing this. So I'm coming back after I do this, guys. I'm going to put this in the pot. When I come back, the next clip you're going to see is me cutting up the potatoes. So now I'm getting ready to cut those potatoes that I have peeled. I'm cutting them in half and then cutting the halves in half, which will be 4 parts. And each 4 parts of these potatoes will be cut into 3s. Just like that. Now I have smaller potatoes. Those 2 Yukon potatoes I have in there, they are smaller. So I will cut them in 4 parts, but they're halves. Those halves like these will be cut in 2s because they are smaller. So here's one of them, small potato. I'll cut it in half, and then I cut it half and half, and then I cut those halves into halves, which 4 parts. Okay. And I proceed to keep doing this with the potatoes so you guys can see the size of potatoes that I like to put into my stew when I cook my beef stew. just like those. Nice, good bite. Chunky bites at that. Now, excuse me, I had a little indigestion. Now, I'm showing you that I have cut the potatoes. I'm getting ready to get a bowl to put the potatoes in some water, because once the air hits potatoes, they tend to turn brown. So to keep them from browning, I just decided to put them in my silver bowl and put some water on them so it could keep them from turning brown. And I do the same with my carrots. So once I cut the carrots, they'll also go in that bowl with the bowl with the potatoes and water. So it's taking me a minute to come back because I was rinsing out the other bowl, but then I was also getting the water filled for that bowl for those carrots to go into that same bowl. So my carrots been cooked and peeled, and so now I'm just chopping them up. I like to, when I make my beef stew or casseroles and stuff, I like to pre-prep, especially when I'm using fresh veggies. I like to pre-prep and have a lot of things ready. But on this particular day, she was like, out the blue, I'd rather have beef stew. So I was like, okay, let's just do beef stew. So I didn't have anything pre-prepped. I'm pretty sure I had frozen vegetables in the freezer, but I just decided that I wanted to use my fresh vegetables out of my fridge that I just purchased. So yeah, so we're going to continue dicing these carrots. You know, only had 3 of them, but that's okay. And then I'm now going to cut up half a bag of fresh green beans. These were also in my Aldi's haul purchase when I went to Aldi's and did a grocery haul. So go check that video out as well. And I put the other half of that bag up in a zip bag and put it in my refrigerator for another day, because I'm going to use the other half on a sheet pan, like a sheet pan dinner. So, yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do that with. Either I'm going to probably do it with some salmon, or if not salmon, maybe chicken or maybe sausage. I don't know, but you'll see it when I bring it to you. So I'm cutting off the ends of these green beans. You know, the little stems that be just sitting there where they grow up from the, ground. So I'm cutting those ends off. And each green bean, since they're long, I cut them in 3s. So they can look like about the same size as they would if they were in a can. See? And then I have a little black bowl right there that I had them in. So I'm just going to put all the cut green beans into that little black bowl, because those went in last with my corn when I made the beef stews, because it doesn't take green beans long to cook. I had a can of corn, and that's the only vegetable that I used that was not fresh. But I could have used frozen corn, but I didn't have any on hand, so I used what I had. So, cutting those green bean stems off, throwing them away. And I'm wondering if I could have saved those and put them in some soil and, plant soil, and made my own little veggie pot green beans. Just wonder. Okay, guys. So
I'm back. I had to chop up my fresh green beans, and then we got fresh potatoes and carrots. I put my carrots and my potatoes in water so that they won't turn a different color. Okay. While I'm waiting for my beef meat to get done. Okay, because I want my beef meat to get almost done, And then I'm going to add my fresh vegetables into the stew. And then now I'm getting ready to come back to you guys and show you guys. I got this here, and plus I'm going to put my little minced garlic that's from the jar in there, and I'm gonna chop up an onion and put some onion in there too. And then now I'm finna get ready to show you guys what I use for as the seasonings inside of my stew. Okay, next clip. So now I am getting ready to put all my seasonings together in a bowl, mix them together so I can add it to the water to make a broth. So now let's get started. We got here some dry parsley. Now, mind you, you can use fresh seasonings if you want. Just fresh parsley, fresh whatever, you can use that. I believe it will taste even better because, but I'm using what I have, which is the dried. So I'm using some black pepper, and I'm using a tablespoon of each, except the salt. It's like a teaspoon of salt. Some black pepper here. I'm cracking a tablespoon of black pepper. I love pepper, y'all, so don't come for me now because I love pepper. You can tell I love pepper because I use several kind of peppers in this soup. That's pink Himalayan salt. So I use about a teaspoon of pink Himalayan salt. And you can see I'm struggling with the grinder because the rocks got stuck in the grinder. So here I have some red crushed pepper flakes. So I'm using just a dash of those. And the same with this cayenne pepper. I'm just using a dash of cayenne pepper. So now I'm going in with the good stuff. It's that garlic powder. And if you're new to my channel, I put all my seasonings in big glass jars because when I go to Walmart, you see the small jar bottle of cayenne pepper. I always buy the small seasonings. And so when I cleaned and organized my cabinet, I seen I had so many of them, so I just put them all in reusable jars. So that's garlic, that's onion powder there that I'm putting in there. It's a tablespoon and a half. And so I just put all of those in there, And now I have smoke. This is smoke and regular paprika in this pickle jar. And so I put a tablespoon of that in there. So what I do is I reuse my glass jars to keep my seasonings fresh. That's oregano. So I use a tablespoon of oregano as well. Yep. And then that little jar that's sitting over there by the side, I'm going to use it. That's accent. Accent just amps up the flavor. So you just sprinkle just a little bit, just a little accent. There we go. So I don't season my meat when it comes to stew, because the season is going to be in the broth. So now I'm getting ready to take you guys over to the stove and show you what I'm going to do with the seasoning. So you see that rolling boil on that broth? That meat have a rolling boil, and the broth is coming through off the meat. So that's what I do. I take my seasonings and I season the water. Now you can use beef broth if you want. Most people like beef broth and stuff like that, but I have to use the water because the broth has more sodium in it. So now I'm getting ready to cut. Like I told you, I was getting ready to cut my onion up. So I got a half an onion. I actually cut my onion a little wonky. I cut it down in the middle, but it wasn't even. So I'm going to put the smaller piece up for a later date. And for something else. Excuse me, I got an indigestion.
Okay. And then I use the larger piece for cutting it up to put in the stew. You guys, try this recipe out if you can. If you don't have fresh vegetables to use what you have. Make it your own. But I tell you, it is really good with the water. You won't miss it if you just use those seasonings. You won't miss the chicken broth and stuff. And I'm telling you, I mean the beef broth because it makes it um much better. You have less sodium when you use just your regular seasonings, you know, and water instead of using the broth, the bouillon cubes and stuff like that, you know. Mhm. But so, like I said, there's no perfect technique at cutting an onion for me. So I just cut them to the size that I needed them to be cut. And yes, I have processors. I have slicers, dicers, and stuff like that. I even have a chopper. But I just, when I'm in the kitchen and doing, I just felt like today would have been a real nice day to just get in there and just start chopping with my knife and take my time and go through this here. So, so it was okay. It was okay. Wasn't in no pain much today, so I'm I'm taking advantage. So now I got my onion
So
in the
now the
bowl.
soup is boiled. It is looking good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my flavors in here, which is my onion and my garlic. And I'm going to let it do its thing. Do what it do. My onion and my garlic. And let it flavor up this water real good. Okay? I'm going to let this sit in here and start boiling for about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to come back and add all my vegetables. Yes. Also, I forgot that I had a can of corn that's going to go in here with these green beans. With the green beans and the carrots and potatoes. Dee said she wanted some corn in there with it. So, hey, we're going to do some corn too. All right. And then I'm going to come back. Let me get my tomato paste. I don't know about you guys, but how many of you guys make your beef stew with the red tomato sauce? Because I do. I love beef stew with the red tomato sauce because it gives like a soup to me. So, yes, I have made it with the brown, like just the brown gravy beef stew type. But I prefer the tomato sauce kind around this time of the year, especially the winter time. Look at how them chunks of meat look, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. That looks beautiful. It's beautiful. Nice. Okay, guys. So I'm coming back with that. I already put my my garlic and onions in. I'm putting that in my dishwater. And I'm going to clean up my dishes and come back with the rest going inside this pot. All right.
So now those carrots and potatoes, I'm getting ready to add them into this water. This broth, actually. I've dropped the carrot. So I'm adding these vegetables into the broth that I've made. And I've already drained the water off of them. But the reason why I'm using a spoon because there's so much broth inside the pot. I don't want it to splash back up on me. So this is a good technique for your people to use. Use a ladle or a spoon to dip your veggies in when you got a big pot like this here. And then what I'm going to do is I let this cook for about 15 minutes at the most, about 15 minutes. And then I dip a little bit of that broth out of there because I don't want my pot to overboil. So this is where I come in. I add the little seasoning that was left that, to season those veggies, the carrots and the potatoes in there. So I just kind of take my little spoon and kind of go down in there and get that, seasoning all through there and stuff. and then let it just sit there and let it cook and do what it needs to do. Then I'm telling you that I'm coming back with the can of corn and the green beans when that cooks down, because it's going to cook down a little bit, and then I'm going to dip a little of that broth out of there so it can cook on down a little more, and then I'll add it back to the pot. Okay, guys, so now look at how beautiful this stew looks so far. Look at that, them fresh vegetables and everything. Let me see if I can show you guys how tender those carrots are. See, the fork goes right through the carrot. It's tender. The potatoes, see how tender the potatoes are? I just broke that one, but see, the fork goes right through the potato. Yep. And so now the green beans has been in. I didn't show when I put the green beans in, but I think I did. So, but they're tender too. So now I'm going to go in with a heaping tablespoon of tomato paste. And I'm going to add my corn because my corn is open over here. I'm not going to add all that corn, but I'm going to add some of that corn because we still got to let this, I like to put, I like to use a whole can of tomato paste because it's the only tomatoes that I use in here. You could put fresh tomatoes in your tomato stew, in your potato, in your beef stew if you like the red, or however you cook your beef stew. I cook mine like this, you know, because I get all my seasonings and everything together, and then I chop my vegetables fresh on up, and I just let this, see how the tomato paste thickens up the stew real good. See how that looks? Because it's time to eat, y'all. It's time to eat. It ain't dinner time yet, though. But when you get through doing this soup up, you be like, it's time to eat. It's time to eat. So I'm going to put a little of that juice in there. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have a little tomato paste down in this can I'm trying to get out. Guys, yes, Lord. Yeah, try to get all that goodness. Get that goodness out of there. That good. This is dinner. This is dinner. I reached out to my oldest daughter to see if she want to get a bowl of this nice, good, hearty stew. And she hasn't contacted me back, but she's working, so. And she's at work, so. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. I'm up. Ooh. Look at that. Doesn't that look good, y'all? Good and hearty dinner. And have that cornbread muffin on the side. And as soon as this get done, y'all, I'm gonna show you what my bowl gonna look like. Y'all know me. Y'all, the T-Block team know me, right? The T-Block team know me. So now I'm gonna go in and taste it because I got the paste in there, and it doesn't take the corn long to get done because it was already in can. OMG, y'all. OMG. So now I'm going to go in with the corn. Well, it's not that much. And then, yes, it's going to bubble over a little bit. But that's okay. I cleaned up my mess. Let's dip just a little bit of the juice out. I'm dipping a little bit of the juice out. Please excuse the noise, but Judy's vacuuming her area upstairs, which is her living quarters. And if I need any more juice in here, I got a whole bowl of the juice right over here. I got a whole bowl of the juice right over here. And yeah, guys, so I got it going on in here, and I'm just gonna let this
simmer. I'm going to cut it on low and let this simmer right quick and finish getting done. And I'm going to come back the next time you see. You will see it short on this delicious meal. I'm just going to drizzle just a little more of that juice on there because I cut it down low, and I'm going to just let it simmer for about another hour, and yeah, another 30 minutes because the corn doesn't take long, and I don't need a whole hour. So, and yes, if you want to know how I made these to go with that, go watch that video. Okay, these are called honey jalapeno corn muffins, and I made them semi-homemade. You heard me, semi, because I can make them homemade, but I did the semi this time because I didn't feel like making homemade corn muffins. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get off this video and say peace in the Middle East. Don't forget that. And here we go, guys. That beef stew with some honey jalapeno cornbread muffins. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, guys. And I love you. And check out the full video. Hey, y'all. It's Simple Meals. Back with a little short mukbang. When I say short mukbang, y'all, ain't gonna be long. Eating on this beef stew.